It's a great point. And I think sometimes, even when design thinking in its original form was first introduced, there was this sort of like, why would we slow down? Like, we need it now. And I think it's harder, to your point, in the social sector, because the risks, like, it really could be life and death for the people we're working with, in terms of the urgency of what they need support with, the crisis that's happening. I'm thinking about, youth in cages on the border. Like, there's a lot of urgency around how, like, this is not acceptable. How do we help people right now? But it's like the classic human conundrum of, like, do we want to do something that's preventative and investing in our values, or do we want to do something right now? And I think it's not a total dichotomy. It's not either or, but what people find, I think, when they get into the liberatory design practice is it feels a lot better to, like, this is working aligned to my values. They feel motivated. They feel excited. They're bringing people in who are most impacted by the problem. It's completely shifting how they work. There's a lot of humility around, like, oh man, we've been making decisions for people. We have to make it with them. We're going to do our work so much more effectively. So it's sort of the trade-off of, like, do you want to be more effective, more effective, more rooted in your values, more aligned to what the community is actually asking for and has priorities in? The outcome is so much better. It does require sort of slowing down. It does. Not sort of. It does. Opposed to, like, we could design a program in 3 hours by ourselves in a room. The chance that it might fail significantly higher than if we're looking at bias, we're talking about power, we're embedding with people who are going to be most impacted. So what was the original question? Yes. When it comes to the different modes of liberatory design, notice and reflect are at the core, which is notice in things like history, systems of oppression, identity, and reflect, and many things. And reflect is about consistently having a practice of understanding, how is it going? How are we doing? What did I bring to the table today? And so notice and reflect are the core of how we work. We truly believe, like, if we're trying to build a more liberated future and present, like, this is just part of how we work now. We're constantly noticing and reflecting. And then the other modes, it doesn't have to be linear, but the idea is these are liberation-rooted practices that'll help you get closer to where you need to be. So that could involve, with empathize, talking to people. With try, that could be, we talked about the safe to fail. So getting your idea out there before it's a $2 million 10-year pilot. Like, you need to know early if people are invested in it and they can help you refine it. So there's a lot of different practices. Each one is going to get you closer and closer to the more equitable outcome that you're seeking. But notice and reflect are sort of like non-negotiable, has to happen.